How can GarageBand have an effect on nonverbal children with autism? These apps are not just for musicians, they are also used as an instrument in music therapy. They can help support emotional regulation, communication skills, expression support, social skills, leisure skills, and so much more. There are many different therapists that use programs like GarageBand to help their adolescents who have autism or who are nonverbal. When talking about autism, it is helpful to understand that there are different levels. There are some who might be completely verbal and others who might not be able to speak at all. Diana Thleets states that every third child on the autism spectrum does not develop functional speech during their lifetime, as they do not respond to language interventions and cannot access literacy. Approximately 1/3 of school-aged children with autism do not use speech as a primary communication mode. This is where music therapy comes in handy. Music therapy is more than your typical talk therapy. In a pilot study of music therapy and a treatment of children with delayed speech development, Gross-Wipke explains that it is an established form of creative art therapy. By using music as a specific medium of communication and expression, music therapy can be beneficial in activating and supporting mental and psychophysical recovery. Music therapists work mainly with neurological conditions, developmental learning disabilities, and mental health needs. This can be done in a children's hospital, general hospitals, or in a specific facility. Music therapists commonly work with kids who have autism or who are nonverbal. Diana Thleets also states that speech is a particular form of music, and without musicality, young children cannot learn spoken language normally as they do. Most people think about their favorite artist or genre when they're thinking about music, but not the benefits that it actually has to offer. There are a lot of people who don't understand how music has an effect on someone, which is completely fine. That is why I'm here, to explain and inform. Music therapy has many benefits, but let's be more specific. I want to get into how it has an effect on nonverbal children with autism, specifically the use of GarageBand. Blythe Legacy's study on group intervention on enhancing social skills in children with autism shows that music therapy can increase social skills including joint attention behaviors, social greeting routines, communication skills, peer interactions, and cognitive social skills. These studies provide emerging evidence indicating that music is a powerful tool that can promote measurable changes in the behaviors of a person with autism. I know, that is really cool. Music is so much more than just something to have on in the background. It's an actual healing source. Legacy also states that many children with ASD, which is autism spectrum disorder, respond positively to music experiences, potentially increasing engagement for learning. The list can go on and on. Whether someone is a music artist or a professional of some sort, or just someone alone in their room, music is used to help people express themselves. Think about how it might be helpful for an individual who can't verbally express themselves. Gas Mabar explains that musical training may help in directing various core autism impairments in joint attention, social replicacy, and nonverbal and verbal communication, as well as atypical multisensory perception, comorbidities, poor motor performance, and behavioral problems. I could sit here and talk everyone's ear off about how music therapy can be beneficial, but it's hard to believe in something without proof that it actually works. So let's look at some examples. In 2012, Sheila Quinn came out with a story about Kyle and Caroline Coleman. Kyle is an autistic nonverbal adult who was in many different types of therapy throughout the years, but music therapy was the only one that seemed to work. After many forms of therapy and attempts at engaging Kyle's interest, an opportunity came for him to try music therapy. A music therapist came to their home for a trial run. The sessions were open and Kyle was in charge. He could choose the instruments he played, and over time it became clear that he was able to repeat the notes played on a piano. Not long after that, it turned out that Kyle was actually able to repeat lyrics. To me, that is just so crazy. He went from not being able to speak words to boom, being able to repeat lyrics. They even said that he is able to sing, despite his language barrier. Quinn described it by saying, the centers of the brain responsible for spoken language and singing are different, and Kyle's brain not only fires off the right connections for him to sing, but he also really enjoys it. Carrie Jenkins is a music therapist at NWA. She uses many different tools and tactics for her kiddos with autism. She has been board certified since 2010 and has had lots of experience. She explained that she uses different interventions during their sessions to work on communication and social skills. She uses music in many different ways to help them express themselves. For example, she uses composition apps and programs to give them that full creative freedom to make whatever they want. When talking about outcomes, she says each client is different and responds differently, but the personal growth that she sees in each one is always so uplifting. And it's not just the clients that see results, it's their parents and caregivers as well. She's had parents over the years tell her that their kiddos open up more during music therapy than in other settings. It's great to know that the work that they do in their sessions can carry over to other areas of their lives as well. The connection between language and music is stronger than a lot of people think. There are different sounds and rhythms that go beneath it all. GarageBand has so many different tools that can come out when it comes to sound and rhythm. Looking at an explanation from Diana T., she explains that learning can become genuinely interactive and interactions can become understandable. The PowerPoint of simple music sounds were enormous for tuning out attention, engagement, motivation, and imagination. Also, despite their simplicity, these minimalistic musical patterns helped bring those aspects of life into our interactions that are inexpressible in words. Music therapists can create all different music sounds and patterns using the instrument tools in GarageBand. Okay, so I just want to show how easy GarageBand is to use. So if you go to this is where all of your songs would be. There is a plus sign up here. That if we push, it takes us to this. This is a whole bunch of live loops that already has something in there. So you would want to do new. But you can also start by going to tracks, which this is what you'll see a lot of music therapists use because you'll see the keyboard, drums, amp, audio recorder, strings, bass, guitar, world, drummer, external. I think that's just to add songs, and then sound library, download free instrument sounds and loops. And so, say we go to keyboard, you will now find this, and you can change the way it all sounds. But you have the record button, play, and then go back. So say you recorded something with piano, you could go back up here, and it'll take you back to the instrument. So say we wanted to do some strings now. You can play the strings, and you can do violin, viola, cello, bass. Say you record something with there, you can go back here and do a different instrument. And then if you go back, you can go back to live loops and then add something back. So you will see a lot of music therapists use this to help create that music and such. I also did an interview with a music therapist and college professional, Crystal Weaver. She has many years of experience with music therapy. She got her Bachelor of Science in Music Therapy from Maryville University. She's worked as a music therapist for 7 years for BJC Hospice, then did a long stint at St. Louis University Cancer Center. After a while, she stopped doing music therapy sessions to become a manager of patient support services. Crystal also has a master's in rehabilitation counseling with a specialization in music therapy, a master's in health administration, and a doctorate in education leadership. In the interview, I asked for some viewpoints on these apps and how it can help kids who are nonverbal and who have autism.
It can be very, very helpful. So a part of our digital technology class with our undergraduate music therapy students focuses on utilizing GarageBand. The ways that it's beneficial, first and foremost, it's very cost-effective intervention. You know, it's a free app that you can download on Apple products. It is very visually driven in the sense that I'm sure you've used it before, but it's visually driven in the sense that if you want percussion, it has the picture of drum and it has the picture of cymbals, right? So you don't necessarily need to be music literate to make a song in GarageBand. How it can help children who are nonverbal be more expressive is it uses that technology to help that child easily write a song and create a piece of music through very simple audio engineering techniques that they can express their mood, they can express their emotions, right? And that can be communicated through music just as easily as it could be communicated through verbal language.
I had also asked her, as a whole, if it helps with emotional regulation, social interactions, and communication.
All of that, right? So sharing music together is a great way to connect individuals in social experiences, right? So it's not only a communication tool, but it's a social, emotional tool. One thing that we forget is leisure skills, right? Like, what do you do outside of the classroom? What do you do for your own fulfillment? What do you do, so that you can have something not just to communicate with others or to be social with others, right? But that you have your own creativity and your own ability, right? To engage in something outside that helps you de-stress, de-escalate. We're usually focused on communication and academics for children with autism, but think about like all the things outside of that, the social interaction, the emotional regulation, but then the leisure piece as well.
Another question that I asked her about is what kind of success that she sees the most.
The most success people usually see when working with children with autism is the communication piece. The music therapy does help children who have limited ability to verbalize, but then also maybe completely nonverbal.
So later on in the interview, may I just add that I truly believe Miss Weaver is very intelligent. But later on in the interview, she kind of talks about Kids Rock Cancer. It is a program, an innovative program that uses proven healing power of music to help children cope with emotional challenges that accompany a cancer diagnosis. This type of therapy helps children combat feelings of anxiety, depression, uncertainty, and helpfulness. I'm going to show you guys a video from Kids Rock Cancer, and in this video, you will see how GarageBand can be used for music therapy purposes. The video might not have autism, but it still shows the power the app can have.
Into the square.
Music therapist Allison Cole carries no prescription pad, just an iPad. And the conviction that sometimes healing travels through headphones better than IV lines.
It can help to, keep their mind off of their pain until their meds take effect.
This creative outlet, making music and doing things that are fun and engaging, just kind of helps with their overall spirit.
Let's go ahead and wrap this up. As talked about in the slideshow, GarageBand is such a helpful tool for music therapists. They can use it to make songs, play instruments, or mess with rhythm and sounds. Don't be afraid to explore the app and see what it has to offer. Thank you.